All right, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Monday, December 18th, 2023. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So, last full week of the trading year. Remember, next week is going to be shortened due to the holiday. And I would think that probably by Wednesday or Thursday, you're going to see participation drop off a cliff. You're going to see, the volume drop off a cliff. All the big fund managers are going to be gone for the weekend. We do have a few events, though. It's very light economic data, but we do have PCE on Friday. Again, I don't think fund managers are going to stick around for that. Plus, the Fed already pivoted. So I don't think the market's really going to care all that much unless you get a blowout number in either direction. By the way, speaking of the Fed pivoting, have you guys heard what the Fed governors are saying right now? Like, they just brought out Goolsby, and they're going to try and continue to walk this back. But Goolsby this morning said, "Oh, we were surprised by the market's reaction to Powell literally pivoting." And it's like, these guys are trying to walk this back, but I mean, the damage is done. Like QQQ here, right? It's happening. So it's $1 away now. In fact, we got 71 cents away. High of the day, 407.99. All-time high is 408.71. So we got about 70 cents away today. And I got to think they're going to want to tag this like maybe tomorrow. It's not that far away. So, when you get this close to an important level, especially an all-time high, the market just needs to go up there and challenge it. Even if that's just for 5 minutes. If we pierce it and then we pull back, it's like a magnet at this point. I would think for the SPX, if we can get through 47.50, there's nothing saying we don't go to 48. But the all-time high is, it's not out of the, it's that's not in question right now. It's just a matter of do we pop up and just hit it, right now, or do we pull back first? I'm thinking the Qs will get there, possibly even tomorrow, whereas the SPX might need to just do a little bit, kind of like what we did here in like late November. Just maybe a little bit of a pullback into the end of the year, and then it can do it early next year. That's kind of my general lean right now. But this market is, we're in euphoria mode, and when you get like that, nothing to say that you can't go higher. By the way, Mike Wilson, Morgan Stanley, all perma bear all year long. He flipped today, so that's also a red flag. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the exact top, but definitely watch out for those stuff. Like late in 2021, I can't remember the name of it. There was that one hedge fund that closed down right around here. And it was a perma bear hedge fund that had been open for like 15 years, and they closed down, and that ended up being the high. This type of stuff is seen when, before big corrections. So just keep that in mind here. And we are parabolic, as you know. Again, just some news I'm reporting on here. One other thing too, BOJ tonight. So that could move the yen around. I don't really see that, even if the yen appreciates against the dollar. I think the dollar is pretty strong here versus the yen on the weekly and the monthly until really proven otherwise. I don't really see any problems with that uptrend, but you could get some volatility in either direction here. So that's just kind of what's on the table right now. Again, all-time highs are very much a foregone conclusion. It's just a matter here of, do we pull back a little bit first and then hit it maybe early next year, or can we just melt up into year end? Again, I'm leaning towards a pullback here. And when I say pullback, I'm not talking about like a tradable like short. It's not a short, but just something where, maybe you just flag for a week or two. But I do think the Qs, they could get there as early as tomorrow. By the way, speaking of, we had a nice little trade this morning on the triple Qs here. Look at that ascending triangle. Picked it up. Picked up the futures actually right in this area, and we got half off, and we're letting the rest of this run. I think we can get to all-time highs on that. But either way here, markets are holding up, and that's really all that matters. What would change is if we had a reversal on high volume. So For the spiders, that means over 100 million shares, and likely a 1% down day or a gap and crap on high volume would tell you that you have a top in place. But until that happens, this market can and will go higher. That's the bottom line. IWM here up 14 basis points here today. Really flat though. Had a really powerful run though. This needs to consolidate if it's going to go higher. I don't really have this getting through 200 right now. I could be dead wrong, but I still think there's a cap right here, and it may need to do weekly consolidation. Every time we've gotten here too, it's just been a tough level for it to get through. But again, IWM holding up, and if it consolidates long enough and those moving averages catch up, it can go higher here. The diamond up 40 cents. I still think this is parabolic, overbought, extended, every word you can think of, and I don't really see a ton of upside for the Dow here. At least right now. I think it's going to need to do some more consolidation, kind of like the spiders, but it has gone straight up. And again, when you get euphoric, there's nothing to say you can't go higher. But the more overbought you are, then and the more parabolic you are, that you're on borrowed time for a move. So, anyways, SMH here down actually 32 basis points. I believe they paid a dividend though. Yeah, and so the stocks here, SOX down 20. Again, nothing terrible. You had a little bit of a tail candle. There's the SOXX, a little bit of a tail candle there as well, and you see the same thing with the SMH on Friday. So it could be a little bit of a top. Not seeing enough volume to confirm it though. But if we do pull back, we'd look at 165. That would be your first level, and then down to 160 and 155 and so on. But right now, semis are at an all-time high, and guess what? They can go higher. By the way, Broadcom, what the hell is this, right? I mean, this is probably going to 1,200. A week and a half ago, this was a $900 stock. By the way, this is a $500 million company. This is not a normal move at all. And that is really helping that the semis out there. But the next level I can give you is 1,200. Anyways, IGV, a new 52-week high, not a new all-time high, but 52-week highs. Again, I still think you're going into a lot of chop here, and I don't see a ton of upside for it in the short term. But you know what? As long as the volume remains light, it can still grind up. But you are going into a weekly supply zone, so just be aware of that. But again, cloud's still holding up and again making new 52-week highs, so I would not fight it right now. Dow Transport's down 32 basis points, but again, had a big run. Kind of a little bit in no man's land here. I still think this can get up to 16,250, but it is down on the day. If it does continue to pull back, there's a gap right here, obviously, at 15,600 and a quarter. So right in that 15.6 area will be a potential pullback level. Again, you got the 20 moving average up sloping, could meet up with price if we came back down in that area. But right now, I would say the actual resistance level on the transports is about 16,250, 16,300. But right now, I don't really see any issues. All right, so let's get over to interest rates here. So rates got a little bit of a bounce today, and the Fed governors are trying to walk this back. Right, I don't think that's why they got a bounce, but I talked about this 4.25 level on the 2-year. It's a big level, and it's holding for now. Next big level has got to get back through 460. If you can do that, then you can get back up to 4.8. So we'll see what we get here. I do think yields are going to surprise a lot of people in Q1 next year. Not so sure. They might have to make one more low. I think the 2-year might have put in the low already. Fives, again, I told you I could see that going to 375, maybe 370. The 10, right in this area here, 365, 380. It's a good zone right here. I could see one more divergent low there. And then the 30-year, we'll just say 3.8 for now. That's what I would look for there. But I do think yields are due for a low here pretty soon, maybe in the next week or two. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of people in Q1. But right now, they're just backing off and doing some backing and filling. So we'll leave them alone. Again, we're not going to see a massive yield spike in front of Christmas. All the work that these guys did propping the market up all this year, they're not going to let that happen right before Christmas. So anyways, XHB down 82 basis points today. Trend is still up. Again, like the Dow, it's parabolic. Be aware of that. Close below this green bar would be a negative. That could tell you that you might need to go back and test 8650, which was your previous, your previous all-time high. So that would be a check back level. Also, this trend line here, which has been a level in and out for the last year or so. We traded through it, went up, retested, and then we just gapped above it. But right now, XHB just pulling back off an overbought condition. So we'll leave it there. VNQ also pulling back as well. Again, 86, we'll say, is your next pullback area, and then 84 if that happens. Otherwise, you're just going to consolidate and work off the overbought condition. Again, anything that was heavily shorted is getting a rally right now. As hedge funds got massacred last week, and a lot of them are forced to cover via margin calling, and commercial real estate is definitely one of those sectors. XLF here up 40 basis points on the day. I believe this paid a dividend too, so it's showing that it's red. But again, no real problems here. Again, this could still get to 38, maybe 38.15, and then there's a lot of resistance there. This has blown through all other levels, so be aware of that. But again, it is getting parabolic here, and it does need to pull back in. KRE, a little bit of a pause day, actually pulling back pretty nicely here. So got all the way up to the 54 handle. You got the gap fill right here. Next big level is 50, and then 49. I still think this can get to 56. So no problems there. Just pulling back off an overbought condition. KBE, I don't know. Best I can give you is 48 right now. So look at what that did. It blew through both of those weekly moving averages. That is not common to see that. It's a very powerful move. You see on the monthly. So I would just say 48. There's your red bar high, your breakdown bar high. That's what I would give it the upside bias to. Again, doesn't mean it can't pull back to 44 first. But that's really all I've got for you there on that front. XBD, again, it's at an all-time high. It's overbought. But nothing to say it can't go higher either. All right, crude here. So crude had an interesting day. So we had some news at the Red Sea. There's a blockage going on. It got a bid this morning, and then it pulled back. I told you guys 74 to 75 would be the level. We got to 74.61. We've had a sharp pullback since then, and you can make a case that's a 20 MA rejection right now. It's not red on the day, so it's still green, and nothing to say it can't just pull back here and then push back up tomorrow. But I think either way, crude is set to make some type of a low here in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if that means we have to make a divergent low and one more downtick. That's certainly a possibility. But I'm watching crude pretty closely here. Right now, I'm just neutral on it. And we'll see what kind of pattern it puts in. But 74, 75 is going to be your big level here to get through. If you get through that, then I think you can go to 80 potentially. So again, we'll watch crude. Put it in a little low a few days ago, and we're getting a bit off of that, but possible rejection on the 20 MA, so just be aware of that. XLE, a little bit of a gap and crab, went up and tested the 50 MA, was really strong early on and then came back in. I don't even have a level for it right now. I would just leave it alone. Same thing with XOP. I don't really have a good level for that either. OIH, I still like that at 280 if it gets there. So that's really all I've got there. In the energy space, CCJ can still go to 50. URNM can still go to 52 and change. There's no problems there with either of those outside of the being parabolic on the monthly time frame. In the case of CCJ, anyway. Nat gas continued to bounce here, so back above 250. It did come off the highs. Talked about the 262 area last week. That's where it went, and it pulled back. We'll see what that does here. You did finish with a nice tail candle last week, and on good volume too. So we'll see if buyers step in here. But nat gas continuing to bounce, and back above that 250 handle now. All right, dollar index. We talked about the yen a little bit here. So the jury's out on this one still. So we went down here, we bid Friday, and now we're just having an inside day today. Again, I told you guys, if we come down here, like tomorrow, maybe something happens with the yen, then we hit this trend line, then we'll say, okay, then we hit the trend line. Otherwise, what we'll do is, if this starts to rally up, then we're going to just, as a technician, this is what you got to do sometimes. Just move the trend line. Right? We'll just say, okay, it went through the lows there, and then, we'll go from there. But right now, I think the jury's still out. I don't have a opinion really on it one way or another right now. I can just get this. There we go. Thank you. But dollar index, a little bit of an inside day. We'll see what happens with the yen tonight. That will definitely move the dollar. All right, gold here pulling back a little bit on the day. Actually, I don't know, it was actually green, but it did come in off the highs. Still above the 20 moving average. Let's see if this can firm up here. I think it can go higher. If not, it's going down to 1950. And that's really all I've got for it right now. Silver here did pull back, so that was down 22 basis points. We'll see. Maybe this comes back down to this trend line here again. But right now, pattern's a little immature. A lot of supply up here, so just be aware of that. Platinum pulling back in here. This can be bought on any bullish pattern or pullback. Same thing goes for palladium. Full disclosure, I own both right now. And I am bullish on both of them. I think this is a major low for palladium and possibly platinum as well. Copper here pulling back on the day. Again, I don't have a bias on this. We'll just give it the upside bias to 4 if we can get above this level here. But I still wouldn't rule out one more flush out in copper. Market's closing in about 30 seconds here. But Bitcoin here still holding up. You got this kind of micro bearish pattern inside of a bullish up move. If this is going to break down, it's probably going to do it in the next day or two. And your first target would be 39 to 38K, 50 MA, sitting right in that area as well. So we'll watch that. If it pushes up, you guys know it's going to 48. So that's easy money there. ETH, here's the difference. So Bitcoin a little bit stronger than ETH here. You have what? Lower high and a lower low on the daily. Does not mean it's broken, but you did put in that daily lower high, lower low. So it could be a little bit of difference here in some of the alts. Look at kind of Litecoin, Polkadot, same kind of look there. Solana still holding up. I still think that can get, it basically got to my $80 target. If this holds up, this can go to 100 if it really wants to push. Cardano got the higher low here. So starting to see a little bit of weakness here. There's Doge with the lower lows, a little bit of weakness in the alts, not all of them, but a little bit more so than Bitcoin. But we wouldn't really want to see that low get taken out. Again, it wouldn't be the end of the world. The weekly pattern would still be fine, but it would kind of damage that daily uptrend a little bit. Again, not anything major, but it would be kind of like the first step into changing the trend, potentially. So anyways, let's just take a look here. So markets pulled back in off the highs. Could they rug pull this tomorrow? It's certainly possible, meaning like we got it really close to all-time highs, and then nobody wants to be the one, like sellers front running the all-time high essentially, because nobody wants to be the last one in or out. But again, I do think we hit that all-time high in the Qs. Again, we're $1 away. It's not that far. It would not be that hard. We could easily just gap up there tomorrow. The SPX and the SPY, I think, is a little bit different. And again, remember that dividend is in the way. So just be aware the SPX made a new high today, not the spiders. But that said, I just think we're a little bit farther away here on the SPX. It'd be really hard to get to an all-time high in a straight line, or harder, rather, without maybe a little bit of a flag or something of that nature first. But I do think we'll give the upside bias there to the Qs, at least for now. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow.